Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Hey guys, my name is Hackalos. I just can't wait for Sunbreak. I mean, of course, a brand new Monster Hunter game is just right around the corner. The expansion of the already well-received Monster Hunter Rise, and just more Monster Hunter. Today I just want to talk about the things that I liked, what I didn't like, and what else we would like to see with the upcoming release of Sunbreak. To start things off, let's talk about the announcement itself, which the first thing that Capcom would announce for the game would be the teaser that would cut back in September, where we get to see our first glimpses of the game's flagship monster, Malzeno, the new Icy Fanged Wyvern, Luna Garen, and Rondine's sister. With all the information that we have now since Sunbreak's announcement, there have been 6 new large monsters, a few new small monsters, the new hunting locale, the Citadel, more endemic life, more Silkbun arts and movement options, a new village hub, and a new cast of characters that would help you along the story of Sunbreak. Just like with every new entry in the Monster Hunter series, we are given an expanded roster of monsters that we would slay, capture, and pretty much anything in between. Of the monsters that have been revealed so far, I would have to say that I liked all of them, with the first monster to be announced with the game would be Hackalos. I mean, it kind of makes sense because Hackalos is pretty much the poster boy of the series, so of course it would be the first thing that we see for the Rise expansion. Just before getting bodied by the actual flagship. Malzeno is the new flagship Elder Dragon of the Sunbreak expansion, adopting a very Dracula aesthetic in its design with it brutally sucking the life out of the poor Hackalos. Okay, Capcom, why is it that in every single Monster Hunter game you have a Hackalos or Rathian being the subject of brutality? I mean, come on, it happened in For You, Gen U, World, Stories, and now Rise? They've been slapped, slammed, scratched, beaten up, almost had their wings cut off, and now have their blood sucked. Capcom, this needs to stop. Because of this, I, Hackalos, will be representing Wrathkind. I have organized a petition, Save the Hackalos, to stop Wrath brutality. Anyways, the Elder Dragon Malzeno is a pretty cool looking monster. Garen Golem, a fanged beast, is this giant armor covered gorilla with the ability to slam the ground causing big shock waves with its arms. Not only that, it has the ability to cover its arms with magma to deal fire damage and moss to deal water damage. The fanged wyvern Luna Garen, taking the appearance of a wolf having the ability to cover itself in ice to act as its armor and as its weapons. Looking at this monster reminds me of Xantrios. A lot like Xantrios, actually. Blood Orange Bishaton, the explosive subspecies of Bishaton, having a more red-orange hue and using explosive pine cones instead of fruits. Shogun's Hinatar is a returning Carapacian monster that just loves to cut people in pieces. I'm not so excited for this monster's return because of its weird movement patterns and huge sweeping claw attacks. And finally, Astalos. In a few video trailers that have been released, there have been about 3 new small monster species, the first being a strange monster that I don't really know how to describe, other than it looks to have a similar skeleton to Aptonoth, which for some reason is not Rise already. Capcom? The return of Vesploid, literally just a Banabra. And finally the new Jackal Hyena Jackie type monster with a dumb face. Yeah, I can't really describe it any other way. The new map, the Citadel, is quite an interesting map in itself, and it's also been said to be the biggest map in comparison to other maps that are already in the game. It features a foresty area, a ruined castle, and an icy frontier, so we can expect to fight a lot of different monsters within this new locale. In my opinion, I'm not so much of a fan of this new locale, and it having several biomes. I feel that instead of having several biomes within the same map, I think it would be better to just split it up into 3 distinct maps, so that we have 3 new maps to go out and slay monsters on. The usage of endemic life is a prime feature in Rise that can be used to aid in one's hunts or halt them for a brief moment. In Sunbreak there have been 2 new types of endemic life to be used in hunts, one being morphed wirebugs. What makes morphed wirebugs different is their ability to add a new effect when mounting a monster. The ruby wirebug has the ability to increase damage of mounted finishers, and the golden wirebug increases the amount of shiny drops monsters would drop when in the mounting phase. So the trade-off would be, do you want to deal more damage, or do you want to get a few more extra materials? The marionette spider is closely related to the puppet spider, spawning a different coloration. In Rise, the puppet spider is one of the few Nibelungs that you would use in your hunts. It uses its silk to instantly put a monster in a mountable state, so it was really good for getting free damage off when mounting a monster. What makes the marionette spider different is that it uses its silk to latch onto a monster, and if aimed at an obstacle, could deal a considerable chunk of damage with the possibility of toppling the monster, giving more opportunities for damage. Most likely there will be walls or objects with different properties that would give way to do certain effects towards monsters. Like how in the lava caverns, there is a geyser you can slam the monster into that will burst out water, applying water blight. There will also probably be a timer duration on how long the marionette spider will be attached to the monster, or linked to how far away you can be from the monster before it falls off. But the introduction of Silkbind arts in switch skills gives hunters the ability to customize their movesets when going out into hunts. So in terms of Silkbinds, there have been 5 new skills. The first being a land skill. The new Silkbind skill for the glaive, which is basically the bug hunter from Generation. When landing this attack, the Kinsect will instead grab every extract from the monster instead of just grabbing one. So it was really good for keeping up your Kinsect buffs. A new light bowgun skill that places the wire in a rotating circle in front of the hunter. We're not really sure what this skill can do yet, but for just guessing, it looks like it could be used as a shield or as a damage buff to whenever you're shooting through it. To be honest, I don't really think it would be a shield because the light bowgun is a weapon that would want you to be zipping around evading monster attacks to getting off clean shots. Having a stationary shield would only limit the bowgun's mobility, so unless the skill can move with you, then I don't really think many hunters would use the skill in the first place. So it's more likely to be a damage buff. The new Silkbind art for Sword and Shield has the hunter apply a buff to the sword that looks similar to the Chaos Oil from Generations, and it having the ability to apply to Destroyer, Exhaust, Affinity Boost, and Mind's Eye. There's a new skill for Switch X that looks like it could be a counter, and a new Dual Blade skill that looks to be similar to Spiral Slice, which is also from Generations. The new village hub, El Gato, is a small port town and a research facility that acts as the hunter's base of operations before embarking on quest. Like other village hubs in the past, it would also house the standard amenities like the canteen, blacksmith, market, and quest board. This is where you would also meet the new characters that would aid you in the story of Sunbreak. You have Admiral Gallust, the leader of the Royal Knights. Herney? Is that you? Oh my gosh. Chiche, the quest damsel, and totally not royalty. Little Miss Forge, the blacksmith, and Obero the merchant, and many other characters that we have yet to see. To be honest, I'm really excited for this Sunbreak expansion, with it just being more Monster Hunter to digest. Although before Sunbreak comes on, I do have a few concerns up until its release. One being that I hope they don't reveal too much about the game, like monsters, or the story, or something else. In the digital event, they mentioned that the Sunbreak expansion will take place after your first fight with Narwhal. So instead of completing the story of Rise and fighting Allmother Narwhal, you can skip the entire Allmother fight in favor of starting the Sunbreak expansion. And finally, I just want more new monsters. It's nice to have older monsters returning in newer games, but at the same time I've already fought dozens of times. So I want to see more new monsters, something that we haven't seen yet. Anyways guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and always remember that Astalos is literally just a Thunder Rathalos wannabe. Bye.